Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 10 of. Oh, I can't even remember now. I should stop doing the names, for God's sake. But anyway, this episode of the Frey podcast, I used to do it at the beginning, and now just, I don't know, man. I forget after a while. But I'm with Femi and Tuan, as per usual. Lovely to have you guys on once again. And I think, Femi, you want to kick off with something about the latest iPhone.
Yeah. We was like talking about the iPhone before, and there was like a rumor coming out saying that that Apple was gonna release the iPhone without a charger. So and apparently they said they're doing it to save cost. It's a rumor. We're not sure if it's actually gonna be true, but what they're saying is that they're gonna put out a phone without a charger, which I really think it's it's really stupid because it's like, what's the point of going out there spending over £1,000 to get yourself a phone that doesn't come with a charger, or doesn't come with headphones? It's just crazy. But I don't know, man. To me, it feels like Apple sort of knows that whatever they put out there, people will buy, so they can put out as much rubbish as they can, and people will just want to buy it just because they want to, really. But yeah. So have any of you seen it or heard of the rumor?
The only thing that I heard about it actually was that those were the 2 points that exactly made, that it doesn't come with the charger, and it doesn't come with the earphones, but apparently the box looks much better.
Do you know what? I actually watched a video on this. Have you heard of a guy called Marcus Brownlee? He used to be called MBKHD.
Yeah, I watched it too. Yeah.
Did you watch his video on it?
No, I didn't get to watch I didn't get to watch his video. No.
So I really like, for example, we were just talking a bit off camera about how, like, social media and that, it's allowed people to blow up in certain ways and produce good content. And like, if you were to take this back, say 5-10 years, and before people were like, that YouTuber was mainstream, or all these kind of people, I would like, for example, about a phone review, I'd send my dad Marcus Brown MBKHD videos, because I'm like, look, this guy knows what I talk about. Also, it's available to you now. The quality is so good, and his professionalism is like insane. But yeah, on his video, he made some. Again, he's really insightful. He made a point about. He goes, most people that are buying the new iPhone have an iPhone. So he goes, You're not actually using. You don't need a new cable. It saves a lot on waste, because there's all these procedures that are put into place now where what's it called? Where companies have to minimize their waste as much as possible and to be better to the environment. But they were saying something like 30,000. I can't remember the exact figure, but I'll link the video in the description. But so many chargers are thrown away each day, and I'm like, I get it at the same time, but the fact that it doesn't come with a charger, but at the end of the day, nobody bought the iPhone. If your iPhone charger broke, do you just go and buy a cheaper one off eBay if you wanted? Surely, and that's probably better for the customer.
Yeah. In a way, yeah. But remember, like, if you were to ask people who normally tend to use iPhones, they would tell you that their charger tends to break so easily. Like, their charger the charger of an iPhone isn't as powerful, isn't as strong as an Android charger. So to me, it just seems like the company, like Apple themselves, are being a little bit greedy. They're putting it under the guise of trying to say, oh, we're trying to minimize waste, or we're trying to do this thing. But in the matter of fact, the fact that they've already created, from what the rumor says, is that you buy the phone and then you go and buy the charger separately. So they've already created a charger for the new iPhone or whatever. So you go and still buy that charger separately. So it's to me, it's just like they're just trying to just make as much profit as possible, and then put it under the guise of we're trying to save waste.
Yeah, exactly. But this is my point right now, right? When you're saying is trying to save waste, if Apple were trying to save waste, right? You don't get a charger, but if you have an old phone with an old USB, bring your old phone back. okay, we'll use that as a trade-in price. That's fine.
Definitely,
Your USB,
exactly.
your old USB, we can bring that one back as well and trade it in. When you do trade in, we'll give you a new iPhone charger that is compatible with or the
With the,
latest
yeah.
version of that USB charger that's compatible with your phone. Then we will deal with the waste for you. If that's Apple, that's how it should be dealt with. But instead of that, they're trying to make this waste thing as apparently it's a good thing that they're doing, when it's actually creating more waste, because people have to go out there and buy chargers that likely to destroy their phones.
Yeah, exactly. That, because that to me, that's what it seems like. It's to me just like a company that's now just focused on greed, because you cannot tell me that you release a phone without a charger, or you don't even allow the people, your customers, to trade in the phone or trade in the charger, because they practically release an iPhone every single year. For example, even for like a console, you can go in with like the PlayStation 5 that's coming out now and the Xbox Series X. You can go into the GameStop or whatever, trade your old console for like the PS4 for PS5, and that would obviously shave down the price, and then you pay the rest. So, but obviously, as you said, the one that they're not willing to do that, which obviously shows that they're just being extremely stingy, and people keep falling for it. And it's well, at least me, I've got an Android, so I don't care.
Do you guys know how much it costs for the Apple to build a iPhone? Let's say the latest.
Nah.
No.
Apparently, it costs something like just under $80 to build the iPhone. So they sell it off to on the release day. I think it's something between $1,000 to $2,000, when it only costs under $80 for its build. And they're already stingy about something that only costs under $1 to make.
Hey man, that's just the world of business. It's it's never enough. You look at Jeff Bezos and stuff like that, and these big guys obviously get slated in the media and whatever, which is understandably at some times, but you just look and it's just like there's never, I don't know about you, but like there's never enough. There's never like, oh, this is going to be okay. No, I've got to conquer and conquer and conquer and conquer, and Amazon's going to take over this and this and this and this and this, and it just feels like you've got to be a certain level of like psychopath. Just go, no, I want everything. Kind of, that's how it feels, especially with like Amazon and stuff, where they're buying in all these different products. And there was a video that I was watching as well about how Amazon price out, because they've got the market to people to sell stuff. They can price out small loan businesses and put it under the small businesses like what is it called? Like people that are making, what was the one that I was thinking of? You know, like the Roombas, the Hoovers and stuff. They can actually go to the factories and go, hey, we've got this market. We can sell you these amount for this money, and this is the offer you'll give us. Literally, they're making their own conditions, because they go, we got the market. You'll be able to sell this many. So they're pricing loads of small businesses out with like the Amazon Basics range and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't know if it's just a mentality, but why do you need? Surely after $1 billion, you can't even spend that. So what are you gonna do with the other money?
It's like Disney, who bought over like nearly everything.
Marvel. Bro, everything, man.
All the IPs that are sort of famous beyond the years.
Yeah, man. Have you seen that? Have you seen that the 10 companies that own everything?
No, I haven't seen that, man.
Do you know what? I'll stick it up on the screen for the viewers to see, and then I'll copy the link in for you guys now. It's crazy. There's like all these, so they're like owned by, there's like 10 companies that own everything. So I found out about this for the job that I used to work at. A couple of these were our clients. So I've just linked it to you now in the chat. So you can just see there's this graph that came out ages ago, but this is just for food, I think. But yeah, it's not just for food, but everything you buy when it comes to. Then obviously, Disney owned Fox. I was like, what was the point in buying that? But that's unbelievable. Like, so we had Mondelez, and one of the projects I did for one of the companies used for was for Heineken. So I did, Heineken, like the beer, Juwan, they do all the Champions League stuff as well. And massive company. And I didn't know how many brands. So we went into the meeting and we went, okay, how many? He goes, oh, we're going to only start with the big brands for now. And we looked at the big brands. Like, okay, that's fine, and that's still like 200 brands. And they went, no, now we're gonna put all of them on. They had over 1,000 brands in total, 1,000,
Wow.
and their companies like, who do we have? It's just
Kellogg.
everything. No, I'm trying to think Heineken owned brands. Do you know what? It was a while ago. This was when I was down in London. But they own
Wow.
Desperados, Sol, Tiger, Beer Moretti. Like they just own. So, like I think they own. And they might own Budweiser. 170 beer brands, and within each of the beer brands, they had like the light version, the premium version, like the 0% version. It was Desperados. It just goes 170. Sorry, not 1,000. But it was crazy the amount of stuff we had to go through. Just like, how do you not have enough?
that is crazy.
They're
That's
trying
crazy.
to buy everyone so they can stop the whole competition.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, man.
That's exactly it. That's a good. And I feel like if you were to trace back as to the families or the people that own those companies, I'm sure you would find like people like I don't know, is it the Rothschild, the Rockefellers, or all them kind of families are the ones that own those companies that own everything. So it's massive. Like I don't know, man. It's just the same where they normally say that when they normally say the wealth of the world belongs to like several family, like 90 something % of the wealth of the world belongs to just a few family, while the remaining of the human race is fighting for, I don't know, 2% or even 1% of the wealth.
Yeah.
So, and that basically what you were saying there about the companies owning about 10 companies owning basically almost everything. It is that basically, because all the wealth, everything is going to those companies, and yeah, and I just don't understand what they're gonna spend the money on though.
It just turns into a habit. Like I'll tell you what, we were actually doing I was clearing out my grandma's house, and it's just like recently, and because they grew up in a mentality where like they had to save, and they had to save everything, because it was like, we don't know if we can need it, and also it's free, so we just need to kind of hoard. They essentially become like minor hoarders, even though they don't need to now, because they've got enough to survive. They get into that habit of, I just need to keep it. So I'm finding calendars from like 2000, not like the full calendar they keep pictures on. Not the individual calendars they've ripped off, you just kept. And I'm like, why have you kept this? Carrier bags? Oh my God, they've just kept thousands of carrier bags and stuff like that, and receipts and like leaflets. Like, imagine like a leaflet that comes to the door, right? There's companies that have gone bankrupt, or they don't even longer exist, and just kept the receipts for that. So it's that same mentality where they just hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard and hoard. And I'm just like when you just get stuck in that cycle, that's all you're used to, and that's all you know. And it's not like, oh, I will be better, because you're just stuck in that position.
Yeah, that's definitely true. It just goes to show that when we humans are repeating something, and if we repeat it enough, we become slaves to it, basically. Or if we keep doing it, we end up becoming slaves to that particular thing that we keep doing. So I think all these companies, all these few people who owns the wealth and keep taking and taking and taking, despite already having more than enough that would feed not just their generation, their future generation, the future generation, and it would feed all of their generation that keeps coming through. The fact that they still can't, I don't know, aren't satisfied with that is, I don't know, it's a bit baffling, but I think that's
it's a bit weird, isn't it? The fact that a brand that offers beer have all these different other companies that they own, like for example Heineken or Carlsberg, or like the foods like or Nestle, all the coffees and all this
it's
milk.
Nestle, bro.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
it's quite amazing. All these chocolate, etc., is all owned by one brand, when
Yeah.
It's the way they own all these companies, and also that the fact that they all these brands, sorry, and they make ridiculous profit, like
Yeah.
ridiculous money, and some of those companies don't even pay tax.
Yeah, they do all their Panama stuff.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
what is
It's
going
it's
on?
it's crazy. Sorry, the one to cut in. Like
Yeah,
when you're saying
sorry.
about the tax thingy, imagine like those massive companies don't pay tax, and then for we who are obviously working our ass off and doing our 9 to 5s and everything, if you don't pay tax, they will bang on you like they'll throw you in prison. They will treat you like like
Yeah.
like I don't know, you've wiped out the entire human race or something. So it's like one rule for them, and then obviously another rule for us. So it's just that's just how it is. They can get
All
away. They
about
can get away,
power.
like exactly. Like, BBC, like BBC
Yeah.
News and stuff. Do they? I'm sure they don't pay tax, because I heard there was a time when they were saying, or do that they were arguing and saying something about them not sort of paying taxes and stuff like that, and I think it's just been forgotten now. Did you guys hear about that? I'm sure it's like a few years ago. I can't remember properly.
The BBC that didn't pay tax.
Yeah, yeah. They found out they weren't paying tax, and they were like being like prosecuted about it. But for some reason, it just went silent. Like no one talked about it again. Everyone just forgot that they don't pay BBC don't pay tax, and it's just become irrelevant. So no one picked up the news anymore,
I'm
and
not
they
sure
got
how it works because it is a government owned, isn't it? BBC.
yeah. But I think I
I don't know
think
how the
oh
legal
I
terms
think
work in their side.
oh 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 I think it was meant to be. I think the people that work within BBC, I think,
Oh, but, yeah,
aren't.
probably that.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, but probably the
yeah, I think
workers
people.
there.
Yeah, the workers don't pay tax.
I
Yeah, I
see.
think that's what it was. And people were saying, why would they not pay tax and everyone else pay tax? And they didn't do anything about it. I
If you
don't think
work for a government business or in terms of anything that's government owned, in terms
I'm
of
sure you
tax,
still.
there is a cut to it or some sort,
Yeah,
as I understand. But I'm not sure if
mhm.
not paying tax is
Yeah, you
is
should you should
quite
still
weird.
pay tax.
Should still pay,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
So I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not really familiar with the legal terms of BBC or anything government owned and the tax charge between the two.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
there's, I mean, anything that's not government owned, businesses with high billion trillion pounds revenue should pay
Mhm.
tax. There
Yeah.
are big brands out there who don't.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I'm being serious. I
Nah.
mean, what's that all about? Starbucks. Why are they not paying tax? What's that?
They
Yeah,
still.
that's the thing, and they just they do it for their own pocket. We get it at the same time, and obviously I think people know that. But what's the solution? Because it's so hard. Because you realize it's woven into so much stuff that you're just
Yeah.
like, man, it's all cyclical. And
Mm.
there was something that I was just like, I don't know where to go because obviously this dead horse has been flogged so many times, but it's just like these big companies mean something, but I think the role of a big company now, I want to say there's certain companies, a big company that become more and more powerful, but
Mhm.
at the sacrifice of what? And I think the sacrifice of it is going to be like the high street and like mum and dad shops and stuff like that. We're seeing that more and more,
Mhm.
with more convenience. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's any way that we could support other stuff, but it's one of those
Yeah.
things where you just go drive into that rabbit hole and you're like, oh man, like that's all I got. Because we've all done it where we've dived into something, we've talked about it, and we're like, you kind of left feeling helpless at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is that you can't. Yeah, we can't blame ourselves, and can't we can't blame ourselves because the system has been so intertwined so much that it is really difficult to go against it, basically. And even if we do try going against it, if everyone isn't on the same page, we're all, it's never gonna work. Hence why, with the stuff that's going on in America now, the Black Lives Matter thing and all that, it's slowly becoming more about race war now. It's starting to become a white versus black.
I think the media tries to make it so.
Yeah,
I think they've tried to make it so, but people are so fed up with it, and they're trying to paint pictures, this versus this people, or like we were talking about in the last episode, where they'll talk about like anti-Black Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter, when it was like, what are you talking about? Like these guys are what we said last time with the statue, the same thing. That's not anti-Black Lives Matter at all, because they're being idiots. It's just straight racism.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So where's this anti versus pro, and you have to pick a side. In the same way, there's been loads of people recently that have been under fire for not taking the knee, and I'm like, you shouldn't be for. And I'm kind of like, you don't have to be. If you don't want to take the knee, please don't. But I know where you stand, and that's okay. Yeah. And I'd rather you be honest, and I'd rather you not take the knee, and be like, no, I don't care. I'm not supporting this, and that's fine. I don't want it to come out like we need to be against this person. No, that person is acceptable to do that, and that is fine. But I know, it's an okay statement, because you're allowed to do that. You can't be hounded by people and cancelled and blah blah blah. But that's the thing that I find frustrating at the moment, where it's like where they're trying to paint everybody as well in like the far left, where it's like, no, everyone needs to be cancelled and stuff like that. And you're like, no, he can not take the knee, or she can not take the knee if they don't want to. They don't have to take the knee, and that's fine. But in that position, you can't be hated for that. But at the same time, it's like for example, there was a video of this woman recently that went viral because she was there's quite a few of them. That was a woman. There's all over the place now. There's a white woman that was holding Confederate flags saying, "Yes, I love the KKK" and stuff like that. And she got fired from her job. But she turned around and goes, "Oh, I didn't know what I was doing. I was only goofing around." So I'm just like, because so it's a weird one, because like, where do you separate? Because obviously they want to put it onto this person to hate this person and direct it, because when it comes to like the system in America, it's so systemic that they don't have one person to go after. That person was the guy that had the knee on the neck, and then they realized he's just part of a bigger problem. Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that, like the companies, but I get it from a company's perspective, because at the end of the day, they don't want to be high. If I had a company and this woman got famous for holding the KKK sign, that's going to affect my bottom dollar. So I want to get rid of them. I don't think I don't think they care at the end of the day.
No, exactly that. I fully agree. I think it's the fact that their reputation will fall down. They don't want to be known for that one person destroying the company. So they rather just take them out of the company and say, well, we dealt with it and we took them out, and they're not part of our company anymore, than have them still working there while people still ranting and saying, oh, your company sucks, you guys support. Because then it will become the bigger brand. It will be that person's part of that company respects that person still, and that means that they respect what she did. So to make them look better is like, we don't really, like you said, we don't really care, but we want to take her out because we don't want to look like we're part of this problem.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think that's usually why companies tend to distance themselves from workers that tend to cause issues. Basically, even on YouTube, you tend to get people like sponsors dropping YouTubers that are in sort of like a drama situation, or in sort of like hot water. So they would, if the sponsors feel like, oh, this person we're sponsoring is a bit, people are sort of getting angry at that person, or they're trying to cancel that person, then obviously they just immediately just drop that drop that YouTuber or drop that person. Like, nope, we've got nothing to do with this person. We don't know this person.
Yeah.
And they just, they just drop the person immediately. And it just goes back again to what you were saying there about obviously the cancel culture that it's obviously now that's now extremely heightened in our generation, where obviously if you do something, everyone is gonna jump on it and be like, wow, how dare you, and they're gonna try and ruin your career, ruin your life, and ruin everything about you without actually even finding proper evidence before even persecuting you for, later or whatever. So it's just confusing, really. Like, people have become extremely judgmental about everyone else without obviously judging yourself, because for you to be able to judge someone and really judge someone without having full evidence and full facts would mean that you yourself have to be clean. You yourself have to be extremely pure, and you mustn't have done anything in your life that requires you to be judged. That's when you can obviously say, okay, I can judge you because I am this, I haven't done that, I haven't done that. And yeah, you're cool. But the way obviously the generation is now is that if the moment if you accidentally say, I don't know, if you accidentally say the N-word, a white person says it, boom, everyone jumps on it. How dare you say how dare you say the N-word? I'm like, who cares, man? Who cares? It's a word. Obviously it's insensitive, and obviously people have to be a bit careful of how they use it and when to say it and stuff. But it shouldn't like completely ruin someone's life over just saying something like that. Well, obviously, but I feel like the people that
I understand what you mean.
I feel like the people that they should go after the freaking, is it Epstein, like the Epstein, all really, those are the ones they should go after. Freaking what's his name? Who is Hillary Clinton's husband, Bill Clinton. They
Yeah.
should. He was good. He also he also went over to the Epstein Island as well. He went there. They said he went there like 12 times or something. So he went there and enjoyed what Epstein was offering. So, no one goes after those kind of people. No one goes after the people who are actually, really committing the crime, and everyone jumps on this bandwagon and just try to try to bring down irrelevant people. Go after the people that really matters. Go after the ones that are really causing the problem. Jimmy Savile got away with it. Imagine.
Yeah. No, I agree. Innit? What's that all about? Jimmy Savage or doing all that crime and then gets away until day of his death. I think that's when they announced, "Oh, sorry, we just found out that this guy did."
No, I think it was after, but yeah.
His death. I know. After
the worst thing is the hospitals, the BBC, they were all in it and they all covered it up.
Yeah.
That was the worst part. The fact that it happened for one guy. These things obviously want less and less things to happen as possible. It's the fact that it was so entwined with so many things.
Yeah, that's definitely. And remember the Queen knighted that guy. The Queen is able to knight that guy, give him a Sir whatever his name is, give him a knight. Then what do you think the royal family will be involved in then? Because most likely they would know as well. They would know that he is involved in those kind of stuff. And I'm sure, they too, the fact that they would sort of know would mean that they are also kind of into, I don't know if they are, but just, the saying of show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So it's like,
yeah, well,
if they were
just on that
friends,
for me. The royal, they had freaking Prince Albert in the whole Epstein thing, and so he's like first hand. He's first hand in, and they just kind of went, oh, okay, we'll see what happens there. But obviously this stuff's been happening for years, and they've just been getting away with it because of royalty, and because what are you gonna do?
Especially Jeffrey Edward Epstein as well.
Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah.
He was a convicted sex offender, and was tagged along with Donald Trump, I think, during his days. And there's a quite interesting documentary on Netflix about this guy who had all this power and got away with so much stuff. And he had ties with what's that guy from the royal family? I forgot his
Is it
name.
the
Prince Andrew.
Is it the
Yeah,
Prince?
that's it, Prince Andrew.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
He even took part in some of the activities. It claims, but not fully evidenced at the moment. But he's being investigated apparently. But yeah, it's crazy what this guy did with all the money and power he had. He got away with so much crime
Yeah.
that I still don't understand how. But it's like I said, it's just the word power. That's what it does.
Yeah,
I,
and
yeah.
yeah, go on, Femi.
Yeah, yeah, I think, and obviously, I think when people become powerful, the normal stuff that normal people tend to get happy about doesn't fulfill them anymore. So I feel like they would tend to look for something much, much more dangerous and much more exhilarating. So that's why you have all this like really powerful people involved in all this really shady stuff that if the normal civilians or we people were to be caught doing these things, we would get life in prison instantly. So, but obviously they get away with all this stuff, and it's just because they've got power, they've got money, they can do whatever they want, and money power talks or money talks or whatever the saying is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just to come back on your point, just with the whole like Epstein thing, on a kind of lower level, there was the Weinstein thing, and on what happened there, and the amount of people that came out against, and where the Me Too movement and cancel culture started from. I think it did come from a good place, but the end,
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn between it because there's obviously that kind of stuff where you're like, this guy needs to, but I kind of it's like vigilantism. It's like because people feel that they've seen that this is the right angle to take, and it's the same thing that they've given up on the system trying to support them and going like, we can't support the system. But I'm like, the problem is at the moment you've got the Weinstein stuff, but then you've
Yeah.
also got people that are being screwed over for saying the N word when they didn't know it was a bad word. And that sounds stupid, but there are people that are genuinely that dumb and that haven't encountered people that are, if you think about it, if you hear that word in rap music and you don't actually meet any black people in real life to have this discussion, you aren't going to know. So I'm not judging somebody because there's people that are actually more racist than that knows if I say that I'll get caught out as racist. So I'm not going to say it. And they're in the clear. And then there's a kind of, we want to say X equals this plus this equals this. White person set plus N word equals racist. But it's not as it's not as simple as that. And I think that's where this movement came from. It started with the Me Too movement, which I think is great. But the problem is it goes into an area where if you take things out of context, they will look terrible. And we do have a court structure in place that will come down on. So if somebody's, for example, if somebody says, "Oh, he raped me," and I want to support the woman as much as I can, and if the person is found guilty and the evidence is there, then put his ass down. Like just send him away. Make sure he gets the punishment he deserves.
Yeah.
But we also have to have that court in place where, not that you don't believe the woman, because you need to. If somebody's coming to you say, "I've had this and this done to me," you need to believe her. But at the same time, there needs to be a kind of evidence. And it sounds weird. Do you know what I mean? At the same time, you can't just say that person did this or I felt this. And people are very quick to jump on the emotions of we should believe all women. But the problem is there are a percentage of people people in general that lie.
Yeah.
Like there was that guy. What was it called? The
Johnny
black
Depp
guy.
as well.
Nah, there was
Oh,
the
okay.
Johnny
Johnny
Depp
Depp.
one's a really interesting one.
Yeah.
And there was that guy, I forgot what his name was, where he came out and I said, "Oh, these two people in MAGA hats came and beat me up." The black guy. I can't remember what his name.
Juicy, something small. Is it Juicy?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
So that's the issue. The worst thing is, them people that do that, I think, need to be prosecuted hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Because
Yeah.
what you're doing by that is it's like the people that cry rape when they're not raped. It's because there is this genuine serious problem that's happening to women and certain people that are going through this stuff, and by them coming out and lying, they need to be held to the same. If you're going to put a statement out there and say this person is guilty of this crime, they could get 13 years. You've got to be willing your head, if you're wrong, to say I'm going to accept the 13 years if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So the thing is, it's the whole thing with the cancel culture. I think it came from a really good place, and I'm not pro it. I'm not against it. I just feel like there's and again, it's trying to separate us into anti-black lives, pro-black lives, cancel culture versus anti-black cancel culture. It's more nuanced than just these two categories that are always thrown at us. You either join our side or you're against our side. And most people are somewhere in the middle and going, yeah, I agree, but this. So again, there's only, if you think about the cancel culture, there's only pro and anti.
Again.
There isn't a middle ground. And I'm like, come on, like most people are going, yeah, we want to believe them, but there needs to be a place. I don't know. I just don't feel like what I'm saying at the moment is being represented very well in the media and just stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's quite common sense.
Yeah. No. I get what you're saying, because there isn't a place where people can just be like, oh, I obviously understand where you're coming from. I also understand where you're coming from, but obviously I'm gonna make my own decision on trying to sort of figure out what would be best for myself. Basically, they're not making. What they're trying to do is they're trying to make everyone as a collective, which should not be bad. If the cause is good, but because the cause is now out of control, is no longer what it initially is supposed to be, and now they're just trying to force everyone as a collective that you belong there. If you can't make your mind up to which side you belong in, then obviously you're against both sides, and both side goes bang on you, because you're not choosing. And from my opinion on this, people claiming like rape and stuff, definitely there should be a repercussion, or at least a form of punishment for people that that say that they've been raped and it didn't happen, because you can't, because we can't say, I can't say believe all women, and I can't say believe everybody, because that won't work. Because if you say, oh, believe everyone, then that would mean someone can come over and lie against you. But the fact that it's believe everyone, or believe a woman, or whatever, you have no choice but to believe him, and you who are innocent won't have any say in it, because someone has just came out and says, oh, you raped me, but it didn't happen. And there are a lot of cases, obviously, in regards to that, where there were like there are some women that would, out of spite for the person that they might have slept with or something, would claim rape, and soon after they would find out that obviously this person didn't actually rape the woman or something like that, but the damage is already done. The guy would already be known as a rapist, and all of those things, while the woman would just get like a slap on the wrist saying, don't do that again. And but
the thing is, I think they are the minority of cases generally. If a woman comes forward about rape and she can prove it and stuff like that, and we have CCTV now, that is the case, but I think there still needs to be a justice system in place which is fair. Now, we don't have a completely fair justice system, and I think that's where the cancel culture comes in. Do you know what I mean? I think that's where it came in for that's where the Black Lives Matter movement came to the prominence, because we saw that obviously the George Floyd thing, he was murdered, and it was horrible to see. Then it went to the judge and the court, and they dismissed it. From there, then the people on the ground leak the evidence. They go, look, this is what actually happened. That's where I believe like this cancel culture movement and that movement comes from. But it's got to go only when the system fails you. But the problem is it's so a lot of people, and I get it, you go off feeling, and it's kind of the media cycle that we've been brought up into, where it's like you read the headline and that's what matters, that initial reaction, and it's again, I just find it annoying that I get what you mean, because most women aren't lying about rape, and I want to believe every person, but there are people that make these assumptions that are false. So they're coming to a point now where the pendulum is swinging the other way, where basically famous men could get away with it, like the Clintons and the Weinsteins. Basically, I'm X person. What can you do about it? And that's unfair, completely unfair. So when all these allegations are coming out, that the pendulum is swinging back the other way. The problem is, it's swinging too far. Where if anybody says, "Oh, he did this or he did that," it will bring it more towards the middle. So I think what's happening is that in order for it to be more acceptable, it's got to go too far in the other direction, and then the pendulum will swing more back towards the middle. But I'm still glad this movement happened for I forgot what his name is now, but the George Floyd and the other people, and the Trayvon Martin and Tamir Rice and stuff, them other people that have had these things caught on camera, and they've finally got justice for them. So I'm glad it's going in this direction, but naturally it's not going to be 100% correct and accurate.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And Duane, you were saying something about Johnny Depp, because I did remember his
there were claims that Amber Heard tried to say that Johnny Depp was abusing her and treating her very wrongfully, and all of a sudden that was all lies. She just cheated on him with Elon Musk.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hearing Elon Musk in every sort of news. He's taking part in the whole world. What's going on with this guy? And did sort of a threesome with him with another actress. I don't know what her name is. She played in Suicide Squad. The eyebrow woman. What's her name?
Margot Robbie.
No, not Margot Robbie. The one who played the villain in Suicide Squad. She's got very thick eyebrows.
Oh, her, the one with that looks quite boyish, but she's got very thick eyebrow. Yeah,
Cancelled, Femi. Can't say that.
Let me find the cast. Let me just see.
Yeah. No, I'm not like she has a nice face, so I'm not gonna.
Cara Delevingne.
Oh, okay. I think I know you're talking about. Yeah. I can't remember Suicide Squad, bro. It was not a great movie.
I know what you mean. But so she basically treated Johnny Depp in such a very negative way, and they were married, and now they've fallen out, divorced, and Johnny Depp's sort of won a lot of the cases against her, and she's fallen out with her friends, with all contacts, and even the fans. They're saying, we don't want her to be part of any of the DC Aquaman movies, because Amber Heard was playing the girlfriend of Aquaman, Jason Momoa. There's been such a fallout, and she's probably one of the most interesting women to use as evidence of how this sort of rape allegations sort of fell out.
Yeah,
no, I think
you go now. Yeah.
No, I think that's a really good case where these people don't say they don't come forward. Where again, when Amber Heard says Johnny Depp has done something, you immediately go, he's a powerful man. We've seen this before. This fits the trend, and send him down. But the problem is, you've kind of got to go, because at the end of the day, this can happen to our. It's one thing to say it happens over there, but if it happens to our family, I mean, how can you not believe them? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one thing to go, oh yeah, we need to go to evidence based, and I 100% agree. But when this happens to somebody in your family, that you just like, no, if something happens to our mums and they come out with the same thing, you're going to believe them. just straight away. It's from a feeling-based thing. You're like, I want that guy dead. I want that guy murdered. Do you know what I mean? So I'm trying to look at it from both ways, where like I want there to be a system in place where that's the case. And Amber is a brilliant example where and again, I feel like I'm trying to come out and say I'm against it, which I'm not. I'm just in a position where I'm like, I'm not either camp. I want to believe women, but at the same time, there needs to be a court case in place. And if it's true, then send him down. The issue was they jumped on the Johnny Depp bandwagon because 95% of the time, when somebody comes out that a celebrity has done this to them in the same position, it actually happens.
Yeah.
That's the issue. So logically, it makes sense to, even though it's all emotional based.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just,
I
sad,
guess
isn't it? I mean, I mean, they've got a good age difference as well between the two, and the fact that she tried to prosecute him and try and say that he was beating her and all the sorts, and bear in mind, she's obviously her fans, her points being sort of supportive towards her because she had some sort of pictures of her being sort of, I don't know, strangled or some sort of marks on her, which she did to herself, bear in mind, which is quite disgusting, I would say. And then trying to accuse him, Johnny Depp being such famous and having his own fan base as well, obviously. And then later on now, Johnny Depp is sort of filing against her, putting her to court. I think yesterday they had a court clash between the two. So it's this is the thing though. I mean, how do you, a woman's claim she's been raped, and then she's got this evidence. How, it's very difficult for those forensic experts and the person in court or the jury, let's say, listening and sympathizing with this victim, and then finding out all this that victim could be saying is it could be a lie. I mean, and they have to listen to the evidence and then judge the prosecutors and the victim and the suspect by those evidence, and that evidence may not be supportive of that the suspect, and then that suspect gets arrested for something that he may have never done or she may have never done, and that's just you don't know what to say to that.
I definitely get. I think people needs to come back to the idea of innocent until proven guilty, because right now what we've got is guilty until proven innocent. You know, like obviously for the Amber Heard case, when she came out and started saying, oh, she was beating, she was this, she was that, you know, immediately everyone canceled Johnny Depp. You know, people canceled the guy. They took him out of, they obviously took his role from the Power of the Caribbean. They literally wanted to ruin his life, you know. If it wasn't for the fact that he had the recordings, you know, showing the conversation he had with her, and obviously her sort of saying that, okay, yes, I did do this to you, I did do that to you and all that. If it wasn't because of that, Johnny Depp would have gone down for a crime that he didn't commit. And that's again that comes back down to obviously, you know, the cancel culture, where I feel like people need to hold off on the emotions first, wait for all the evidence and facts, and then make a precise decision, instead of jumping with emotion, because jumping with emotion would just it never turns out right, you know. Because remember, there's a saying where they say you never do something important when you're really happy, because obviously when you're extremely happy, you do the most stupidest stuff, you know, instead of when you're level-headed and you're logically thinking, and you can think that, okay, this is what I'm going to spend my money on, and this is how it's going to be and stuff, instead of when you're extremely happy and you're like, oh gosh, that car over there, I might not be able to afford it, but I'm happy right now, I'm just going to buy it on credit, and then you're going to be in debt. So it's just that people need to understand that we need to wait for the evidence. We need to go back to the idea of innocence until proven guilty. That is literally it. That's the most that's what everything boils down to. Because I don't see, we obviously we can talk around it and talk and give difference of opinion, but if we can't go back to the facts of waiting for someone to be for all the evidence to come out and then you can say that person is guilty. If we can't go back to that, then I think, everyone is just wasting everyone's just wasting their time, man.
Yeah,
That's,
I agree, but I think overall this movement has done more good than it has harm. And that's the main thing, because at the end of the day, these people thought, well, we saw with the Jimmy Savile thing, there was those whole organizations trying to cover it up. So at least if they've got a voice and they've got a platform to share it, they can. But again, if they are, I think there needs to be punishment for these people. They can't just like essentially because essentially what Amber Heard did was defamation. She screwed him out of sponsorships, deals, his career, and stuff like that he can't get back. But the issue is that most women that come out in that same position, you've just been like, well, we heard this story before, so we've done it. So that's the case. But again, there's these cases are few and far between. But I don't know, man. I 100% get what you're saying. And I don't want to sound like we shouldn't believe women, because at the end of the day, if this happens to somebody in my family, I'm 100% going to believe them. Simple as. I know how they are. So it's one thing to see it on the outside. I'm just trying to say, if that happens to somebody in our family, like what can we do? But I get innocent until proven guilty 100%. But it's just the system that there was a time where this was not impossible. This was really hard to track, because women would come forward and they say it's about this person. Let's say a Weinstein, for example. They did this to me, and they'd go, or not okay, we'll put a case forward, and then Weinstein's lawyers are bigger, so they'll just go, we can't proceed, and they're left going, well, what am I supposed to do? So when they're left feeling helpless, that's when they come forward and go, this person did this to me on this day and this time, and then provide the evidence, and then other women come out having the same thing. So I get what you mean, but I think overall it's a net positive that these things are happening, because at the end of the day, this bred life to the Black Lives Matter thing has become like an international sensation in 2020 for the same reason, the Me Too movement. So I think people want to. There's a lot of people that criticize it and go, oh well, it's this. Well, yeah, there are bad bits to it, but there's positive things that happen. But I think the issue is it's not being I wish it was that simple. You could divide left and right. You could go pro or against, but in reality, it is somewhere in the middle. But I'm still glad that these movements actually happened.
Definitely. Like, because it came from a good place. It didn't start with any malicious intent. It didn't start with the intention of having some people use the system that came from good intent to try and exploit it to bring down people for their own personal reasons. I'm not even gonna lie. I think I've even encountered, it's not me personally, but I've heard from someone that there was this guy, right? Let's just call him, I don't know, maybe Johnny or whatever. And he goes. There's this girl that that Johnny is sort of interested in, and we're gonna call her, I don't know, Paige. So Paige decides to call Johnny 12 a.m. in the morning and says, oh, let's come pick me up. I've got nothing to do. Let's go and do something, or go for a drive. Johnny comes over, picks her up, and obviously drives her. They were having a good time talking and everything. and then Johnny decides to, obviously thinks that, okay, this girl, she called me out this late, in the night, and obviously she wants stuff to happen. And then obviously when she then decided and says, oh no, I don't want, can you just drop me back home? Johnny then felt a bit like, oh, okay, if you don't necessarily want anything to happen, and I came here expecting something to happen because you called me out this late at night. The fact that you know, if you didn't want anything to happen, you shouldn't have. You obviously called me out to just use me as an Uber to get you food. And then Johnny became a bit pissed off and said, okay, can you leave can you leave my car? So Johnny kicked her out of the car and decided to go on his merry way. And later on, Paige then obviously spoke to her friends and were like, there's this guy, you know, he came out, we had a good time, but obviously because, you know, things didn't go his way, he told me to get out of his car and I had to walk home. And Paige was actually contemplating on calling the police to try and claim sexual assault on Johnny. And Johnny did nothing. All Johnny just told her is that, okay, you know, I expected this. It's cool that you didn't want it as well, but obviously I wanted something and I didn't get it. Okay, I dropped you close to your home, but can you get out of my car? You can't consider that sexual assault, but obviously Paige decided that, was contemplating that she would call the police and say, oh, Johnny sexually assaulted me, which obviously never happened. But she felt that she can use that to spite the guy, to spite Johnny, just because, you know, things didn't turn out great or turn out the way she wanted it, or she wasn't happy with the way the situation ended. It sort of shows that obviously you can have the idea of believe all women, but remember, women are also humans, and the same as we men, that we are humans. We men ourselves, we know ourselves. We can lie. Men are able to lie. Men are able to kill. Men are able to do everything under the sun. And women too are also humans as well. They have the tendency. They're not, as long as you're not God or you're not an angel or whatever. As long as you're of flesh and blood and you're of the human race, you have the tendency to lie, to kill, to betray, to stab someone behind. You have all that tendency. So I can't necessarily go obviously support the idea of believe all women or believe everybody or believe a certain group of people without any evidence. As long as they speak it, we believe it. Nah, I can't do that, because it's like, you're the same as me. Why would I believe everything you're saying, but you can't believe everything I'm saying? Like, that does not make sense. Because imagine if the dude is saying, okay, I didn't do this, but the woman is saying, yes you did, and then because of the saying of, okay, we're gonna believe one group but not believe the other, then you're gonna believe everything the woman is saying but completely disregard what the man is saying. Then what's that? Then without, you're painting the idea of, okay, women can never lie, men can lie. Women can never kill, men can kill. Women can never betray someone, men can betray people, which is not a good way for a society to work, because you will always have people who are able to exploit that idea and use it to their own benefit, you know, and that in itself is not a good way for a society to function. I feel like a society needs to function based on facts, evidence, and logic. If you can have that, and obviously put a bit of emotion into it as well, but you need to have, you need to focus on facts. If you can't, if you don't focus on facts, you're gonna be doing like a lot of silly. The society will just be doing some random stuff that does not make sense, and that's sort of what we're heading to now. Basically, all the stuff that's going on around the world, and all the the pro this, the anti this, the pro that, the anti this is basically a result of lack of facts, lack of logic. That's basically what's causing all this. Everyone is just acting based on emotions, which is saying that, oh, if you have pro this, then because I feel threatened by that and I feel and my emotions are a bit hurt, I need to make anti of that then. And it's just stupid. It's just stupid. Basically, what I'm saying is that the believer woman idea, obviously it's good, but the fact that they're also humans, and any human that's living on this planet have the tendency to do anything they wish. They have the free will to lie, to kill, to do anything they wish. then no, I can't believe all women. I can't believe all humans. I need to see the facts and evidence for me to be able to come up with my own pure decision, basically. So yeah, I get where you're coming, Neil, but that's my own take on the idea, obviously, but the idea of the believing a woman thingy. But yeah.
Yeah, it's quite weird because what do you think, guys? Do you guys think we're emotional? Are we law-abiding citizens or emotional-abiding citizens? If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. At the end of the day, yeah, it's going to be we're the reason why we are emotion based. That's kind of rationale and logic don't play into reality. Even things like, I don't know. It's the reason why, for example, some people believe in flat Earth. But the fact is that we can only see the Earth and we don't see it round, so therefore it's flat. It doesn't mean that it's. I think our brains are naturally wired to do things that just. It's like massive things I don't think we can quite understand. Like, how our phone works, how quickly it sends messages over the internet. If I want to send a message to you guys, I send my phone immediately. I don't know how quick it is, but the speed of light, it goes to like you or Dewan or whatever it is. And I'm like, I just see this screen. I go, okay, that's about 5 inches. That's it. That's all I know. So like we're only I think from a completely logic, we're just not designed to understand that information. But I think I've realized there's a kind of beauty in not knowing anything, not knowing that information, if you see what I mean. Because there's always the amount of information that there is on the planet is such a small speck compared to the amount of information that we don't know. So yeah, back to your point, I think we're definitely emotionally based for sure. I think all of us would like to think our opinions and beliefs are based on logic and rational thinking and stuff like that. But I think with anybody given a certain circumstance, they can all be skewed in any which way.
Yeah. That's definitely true. Obviously, this is going away from what we were talking about. But have you guys heard about the about what's it? Kanye West running for president? Oh.
That makes me laugh every time I hear it, man.
Go for it, Dewan. I know you got a lot to say on this one.
Well, I mean, look, okay, right now, America's, I don't know what could be worse, okay? You got a woman who's got a huge showcase, apparently becoming a billionaire, who's who let's be truthful here. She became famous for her porn video. Now we got this.
Well, you're referring to the Kardashian.
I wondered who you're referring to.
Yeah,
then,
of course. He's only got one wife, right, Kanye?
I think so.
So now we've got this guy who's, I don't know what his talent is. I remember he was selling things on the internet for a ridiculous price, and it was a blank T-shirt, blank white T-shirt that he was selling on as his brand of resource. I don't know what you want to call it. His product was just a white T-shirt, which was being sold for something like I don't know, £100. I remember something like that.
$50. I think
something ridiculous. Yeah, it was something ridiculous. And now he's trying to run for presidency with, I don't know. I mean, would you say he should go for it, or who would you see that should be president of US?
Fuck it, Barney will be president in about 10 years' time at this rate. We'll have some children's cartoon character, We'll have Clifford the Big Red Dog running. I mean, like, yeah, there'll be. I know what you mean, but
it's just ridiculous.
It's not even the craziest thing that's happened, and it's that crazy a year that's happened so far that Kanye West running for president is like not even in the top 10 weirdest things. So I'm kind of emotionally checked out of especially what's happening in America, because it's just that can drive you insane.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everything that comes out of America at the moment seems to be just some sort of meme joke, you know?
Like,
Yeah.
right? It's just crazy. Like, even when I heard it, I was like, wait, is it real? Like, I thought running for presidency require you to have knowledge on how to actually, I don't know, rule a country.
Yeah.
I,
It,
I, I
I
don't
think
know.
one thing, just sorry to interrupt, but I think one thing about Kanye West, just coming back to the t-shirt thing, I tell you what though, that's a genius move. If I can sell t-shirts for 50, imagine the price up I can get if I'm making a t-shirt for maximum like $4, $5, sell them for 50 with like, and they sold out immediately. I'm like,
Yeah,
again,
I agree.
this
Yeah,
shows you Kanye's genius and idiocy, and like that's Kanye. I think that sums up Kanye in a nutshell. Kind
yeah.
of,
Sorry,
it's
that's what my
it's
point
massive.
was. In terms of talent, that's the only thing that I've seen him outside of music that he's done was do this sort of T-shirt branding, and look what he did with that. I mean, that was that's just. I mean, imagine you selling a white T-shirt online for even a pound. You probably take a month to sell it. And this guy's got outsold for $50 each. That's just ridiculous. And then the other thing I was about to say was that this guy being president. I mean, look, first of all, we can't say anything about him running for president because he hasn't submitted anything. But if he's still
Yeah.
got opportunity for that to happen. So let's say you've got these guys running for president. This guy's got support. He's got a fan base. All right, Kanye's got a fan base. Kim's got a huge fan base, considering how her TV show, etc., makeup with her sisters and etc., her whole family making. So they do have the support, and even someone like Elon Musk has already provided full support to Kanye. And like I said earlier, I don't know why I'm hearing Elon Musk in every news now. Um, Even space, everything, anything related to this world. Even Black Lives Matter has Elon Musk's face on it. COVID-19 has Elon Musk's face on it. I don't know anything. Anytime I turn on my phone, I see his face. It's like I've got wallpaper hidden or something. I don't know what's going on there, man.
Remember a few podcasts back we were talking about. You said you brought up Elon Musk's child's name, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, this is kind of it. We said the same thing then. He's just he wouldn't say he's doing it for attention, but he's doing it so that he can stay relevant in the news. You've got to kind of, regardless if it's good or bad, you've got to stay relevant because they'll throw you out in a second as soon as you're not mentioned. So the media landscape is no matter positive or negative, you've just got to be mentioned, and I think that's where like for example, we're talking about Kanye West running for president. He's not announced it. He's thought about it, and yet there's more traction and more information going around, either good or bad, but people know about it, and that's the most important thing. Same with the $50 t-shirts. The fact that they sold out and the fact that he sold them, that publicity it's free publicity for nothing. So in that sense, he's kind of a genius. That's a genius move because it gets people knowing about 50 Oh, who made it? Kanye West. Okay, what brand? And then they're publicizing it, and that's pretty much what happens. You publicize it, whether it's good or bad. People know about it, and if people know about it, you can make money from it more easy.
Yeah, definitely. And I also feel that obviously the guy is a bit of a genius because he did. I think him obviously doing the shirt thing. It's kind of showing, maybe I don't know, but from what I took from what he did is that it's maybe trying to just show people like how stupid we can be. Like he just released a white shirt. There was no branding. All he just had was his name on the back of the shirt where it would have the like a little bit of a logo or something. I think just at the back of the shirt. No, you can't even see it on the shirt. When you're wearing the shirt, people would just think it's a blank white shirt. And he just has like a look, like his name on inside of the shirt, so no one is gonna know when you're wearing it. And he sold it for a really expensive price. To me, it's like it's trying to show people like Are you guys really that stupid? That even if it was to release, I don't know, what could be the worst things he could release? I don't even want to say it, but if it was to release something so bad, but the fact that it just has his name on it, people will people will buy it because it's got his name on it, and that just kind of shows the mind, the current mind of we humans. Like we aren't we we take another human and then place them on such a pedestal that they are sort of like a mini god to us. You know, like why would you go buy like a brand that obviously you know that it's not worth it. It's not worth the money. It's not as if the material that's used for those clothes are material that's far better than any other material out there. No, it's exactly the same. But the fact that you see this person as some sort of like a god basically
Yeah.
would mean that, oh, as long if I can have just a little bit of something that relates to this person, then I can also sort of get a bit of the glory of that person is getting. And I feel like that's sort of what he's telling us, that he's probably telling us that, dude, you guys need to get a grip. You all need to get a grip. Like you need to think for yourself, not have that herd mentality where you need to you look up to someone that's also the same, also a human as yourself, and put them on such a pedestal that you can lick their boots if they tell you to do it. So it is genius on his end, and I think it was just trying to show a message, but that's what I sort of got from the stunt that he did pull. But he's a bit of a genius. I don't know how it would be if he was to become president. If he did submit the thing to become president, and he did end up becoming president, I really would. I'm a bit curious as to how it might actually be. What do you guys think? Like, imagine Kanye West as president. Like, how would he? How do you think he's going to do better than Trump if he were actually like if he were become president?
I don't know. He'll probably make the White House keep doing, have strip clubs and everything running, and probably do DJing during the what do you call it, the special events. Probably have
I'll do it.
Jay
Shit.
Z.
I'll come. Fly
And
me out,
probably have
man.
Jay Z.
I'm here. Kanye, if you're listening,
Probably
I
have
know I'm
Jay
on
Z also.
lockdown, but still, I'm still interested. I don't care, man. I bet that money will be good, and that publicity, oh, that'll be sick.
Well, I mean, it'll be a funny. I don't know. For me, it'll be just imagining in my head how it will turn out and how the office will look. Will probably be just hilarious. Um, but I don't know. I don't know. I can't take it serious at the moment. But then that was the
Yeah,
same feeling I had about Donald Trump.
Yep.
And
I know. Yeah,
look where we are today. So if he does do it, let's not be surprised. We've seen, like Neil was saying, we've seen so much shock coming from America at the moment that the only thing that's going to happen is probably they're going to change the name of America to we're Jokers United or something. I
The United Jokers.
just,
or some shit like that.
UJ. Oh, Jesus.
that's a good.
I think yeah, it's a good way to leave that one there. So I'd like, Femi, Dwan, thank you both for coming on. It's been a pleasure once again, and tune in next week where we'll talk about where we want just again, but we'll see you all in the next video. So goodbye, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Goodbye.